This running me, curly yellow dancing on me, said she smelled a grin on me, and she straight from California, freaky, yeah, she wanna be, tell me she like.
What is really good? Welcome back to Sekien no Inganock. You may notice the quality of this video is a bit different. 1440p, 60 FPS. I am on my desktop right now. My desktop setup here, and I mean this is a lot different, right? I have a 1440p screen that I can use, so the audio levels should be the same. So that that should be fine. I made sure each of the audio levels were identical, because I usually record this with my laptop, right? But now I'm on my desktop. I'm using the same mic. Not much has really changed, except, it's 1440p, which doesn't really make a difference since this is like a DS homebrew on the 3DS system via the capture card. So it's like, I don't think you can see any tangible difference. Anyway, and I do have to be a bit more quiet. But I think we went through all these scenes. So what happened last time? Lots of things, actually. Lots of things. Last time we heard of Guy, he pretty much went into the virtual world? I don't know. The information world, whatever it's called. Anyway. I think we read all these scenes. Yep, we did. Let us go. Let's exit, right? Yeah. I think that's all that needs to be said. Oh yeah, so because it's my desktop, you won't really hear my fan in the background anymore. I think, at least. So, yeah. Exit. Analysis Depth 4. Dialogue with a high density information entity. Within the darkness, I continue my dialogue with the creature. Yeah, you're right. I feel a presence. My golden eye scans the surroundings. Okay, so we're in Addie's point of view now. Kia and the automation were in the middle of talking about something. Guy was still sleeping soundly in his stroll through information space. She was the only other one there. The ears atop Addie's head stirred. She could hardly hear any form of sound, but there was a presence on the far side of the large iron door. You know what? I can read this a lot better on the actual screen now. I used to read this on the actual 3DS device itself, but I'm reading it through my monitor, and it's like, this is great. Something slightly bigger than a human. Kia, それに君もそこの扉からもっと離れてて。何かいる。了解しました。キア、こちらへどうぞ。Kia tilted her head as the automation took her away. Yes, she appreciated the doll taking Kia all the way to the back. Addie cringed at the sensation running along her spine. This is what he'd been worried about. To think there really was something. But I won't let this surprise confuse me. I'm used to this biz. And I will not lower my guard. That'll only invite death. There was definitely a presence on the other side of the iron door. It felt heavy and inorganic. Was it one of those guys? Fast despite their weight? No, they were busy having fun with David right now. She couldn't think of any reason for them to come out. Upper tier soldiers, sometimes called knights, covered in armor befitting that alias. objects of fear and awe to people in the lower tiers. They killed their enemies with speed, mass, and shocking physical abilities. This time, there weren't supposed to be enemies, but in Guy's case, it was different. She'd stuck her neck into another dangerous place. She'd have to do more than apologize when she got back. Guy's case. What's so important about this place? She pursed her lips and gazed at Guy through the corner of her eye. At that moment, Addie's reflex nerves, strengthened by crack engines, captured a gaze. Its emotions were very shallow, but that gaze definitely contained a will. The automation. That superbly well-made girl. She had been looking at Guy. A shallow tinge of fear was in her eyes. She started to speak. When the sound suddenly wiped those words away, the black cat shuddered. She consciously extended her retracted claws. Dark animosity was coming straight through the door. Something or someone was violently beating against the iron door. The building was about to be broken into. Oh gosh. Analysis depth 5. My mic is peaking a bit. Hold on. Dialogue with high density information entity. Within the darkness, I continue my dialogue with the creature. I think my theory is the Grand Prince did it. I don't know who else could have done it. Unless they introduce a new character, but as of now, I mean, I don't know what the Grand Prince is up to, but yeah, I don't know. They're on some other type shit. Who would do such? Someone with a will and a character, and not to mention, the prince is like a super genius, so I think he would be the only one capable of doing this, or at least someone related to the prince, or maybe both of them, I don't know. Could never do that. Not one person ever wished for this hell. That's what I believe. What? Hold on. We exist to be consumed. The human's information is theorizing us. What? I know everything this creature is saying. No, you don't. No way you do. That's right. Everything lives that way. However,
この俺が消し去ってやるだけだ。普通を感じなくなるんだ。何も見えなくなる。何も感じなくなる。ただ何もかもを諦めるだけだ。誰よりも誰より優しく俺は人間を一人ずつ終わらせてやる。
優しさ。
そう、これは慈悲だ。お前の大好物じゃないか。いいえ、世界はそれに溢れるべきだと思うだろう。だから俺とお前は何もかも同じだよ。
いいや。
He just said no. No, we are not. He just said no so plainly. Man, I love Gi, bro. I love Gi.
いいや。違う。
Tell him, Gi, tell him.
違う。そうだろう。
Yeah, what is he talking about? What
な
is...
すなち。
No idea what this beast is talking about. Ugh, creature Bandersnatch. Okay, okay. Man, I love that name. Bandersnatch is such a fire name. Creature. What you're saying is that that steel girl should end her life as a doll. Creature. What you're saying is... Steel girl? What? For me to stay my hand, the hand that I hold out to someone.
そうだ。あの娘はあのまま終わる。決してもう人間には戻れない。
Who?
体のすべてを鋼鉄に置き換えて、それでも人でいられるほど人は強くない。手を止めろ、ギー。お前はここで諦めればいいだけだ。俺にはわかる。お前とはきっと分かり合えるとな。
僕は
I can't stop. I can't not hold this hand out to someone. Resisting something and desiring something else.
なぜだ。なぜだ。なぜそうする。ならば話はここで終わってしまう。終わってしまうのだぞ、ギー。
Why is this the only choice? What in the world? Do I come back here and then I'll get another choice if I finish the game? Why is... What's even the point of this? No, I don't want to save here though. Do I want to save here? Let's see how it goes. It shouldn't be too hard to catch up here if anything goes wrong. But this is definitely not an ideal point to save. There's an image on the screen. There's music playing in the background. VNDS doesn't like all that. But we'll see. I don't think it'll fail. I think it'll be fine. It'll just struggle a bit more, but... Alright, let's see. Come on. So... Oh, no, it worked. Okay. Who made Bandersnatch? Or who made these monsters, these creatures? I don't know. I still think it's the prince. Maybe... What if it was Kia? What if it somehow was Kia? I feel like that'll be the twist at the end. I actually feel like that's what's gonna happen, but I don't know. I mean, she could have had amnesia. I guess that's possible. I don't know. My leading theory is the Grand Prince, but in the back of my head, I think Kia could have possibly done it, just because these stories like to just throw a twist like that. So, alright. Give up on it, I guess. End it? I've heard what you have to say. None of it is mistaken. Even so, I cannot stay this hand. He closed his eye in information space. He heard Bandersnatch's voice nearby. The voice of the creature ridiculing him, taking pride in its victory. That was a creature voice, though it didn't bring about terror or panic. His consciousness filled with despair and resignation. He couldn't save the girl turned to steel. How could he open her closed heart?
それでも
Are they talking about like the person they're saving here? I'm so confused. I feel like it's the person they're saving. The one that got mutated or demoned away into information space. I don't know. It's hard to follow this. But it's whoever Guy was looking for, I think.
僕はこの手
Yeah, I think it is, because the automation must be modeled from her, right? The automation is modeled from the girl that Guy is looking for, or something. I don't know. His consciousness diffused throughout information space. In other words, his brain had died. The consciousness that was said to have once existed in the brain. Once it diffused, it would disappear. It would never again return to his brain. Ah, so this was the creature's attack. I was completely fooled by Bandersnatch's trap.
諦める時ださようなら
The illusion which should have been at the edge of his darkened vision. He saw the clown once more. The creature said,
今度はお前の番だ女は食い飽きたからな
What? What? Huh? Hold on. Hold the phone. I am mad confused. Oh, no, it froze. Okay. Understandable. Alright, let me take care of this.
終わってしまうのだぞギー
Yo, I don't have any other choice here. What am I supposed to do? Okay, so basically I reloaded the save that I made the choice on, and I essentially have no clue what to do. So, okay, here's the plan. Here's the plan. We're gonna go through the game again. I know that sounds crazy. I'm gonna skip through all those scenes. And we're gonna go to that choice, and hopefully there's gonna be another choice because I don't know what else to do. Let's see what happens. I'll skip until I get there. I'll see you guys, man. Yo. I must be tripping because I skipped all the way here just to find out there's only one option here. What? So it's happening here too. Okay. Okay. I have a theory. Let me pick up my 3DS. It's been laying here. We're gonna reload this save in the inner voices. Here's my theory. I don't remember what happened quite last episode, but I think it did crash before we could get to all the inner voices. So it didn't save the fact that I got through all the inner voices, right? So, excuse me. And I did skip the inner voices before I just got to like that choice I'm showing you like a few seconds ago. So I think you have to read all the inner voices. I genuinely think that's it. Let's see. So, I mean, we already did this, but it didn't save, so let's get to it.
ルアハ・クラインという人物。
We're gonna skip
この
this.
ショコビルディング。クライン氏。
This isn't very useful. Let's just hold Y. Alright. Hold Y to skip. I mean, at least VNDS has like nice features to skip, right? Okay, that was scene 3. Or, sorry, scene 2. This is scene 3. This is scene 4. This is scene 5. We're almost there. I was like, maybe I have to go back a second time and go back to the choice. Maybe it's like a zero escape thing where you do the choice once and then you get it wrong because it doesn't give you another choice. So then once you go back, it gives you the other right choice. But apparently not, because I can't even get there. I think it's the inner voices. Alright, exit. And we're gonna skip all that. We're gonna skip another scene. Should bring us pretty close. You see, I knew it. I knew it. That was the problem. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. You know what? Fair enough. I think that's kind of stupid. I think they should at least, like, inform us what we did wrong, because, I don't know. But, let's save here. Let's see if this works, man. I'm not quite sure. That took so long. Y'all don't understand, because I would skip the scenes and it would crash, so I'd have to manually skip by holding Y. And I mean, even though I'm skipping, it's still pretty long. We've been through a lot. Okay. Let's cut the connection, see what happens. I think we already know what happens. I'll cut the connection. Bring my consciousness back from information space. Back to my brain, still on standby. I cannot stay this hand. However, I cannot deny the creature's words. There's nothing I can do. His consciousness filled with despair and resignation. He couldn't save the girl turned to steel. How could he open her closed heart?
それでも僕はこの手を
He tried to open his eyes but couldn't. His physical senses no longer existed. So this was the creature's attack. He'd wondered why it was willing to talk for so long. So I'd been doing this the whole time. I was completely fooled by Bandersnatch's trap.
諦める時ださようなら
The illusion which should have been at the edge of his darkened vision. He saw the clown once more. The creature said,
安心しろギー死は全ての人間へもたらされる
I see. Yo, I'm gonna be real. What was I gonna say again? Yo. Oh yeah. I was considering switching to the PC version of this. I assume this is on PC. And I can play this on PC. I really can. But, I mean, I don't know. It's just like if I got a 3DS capture card, I'm gonna use it. Like, I don't know. Like, I like using VNDS. I like using this unorthodox method of reading visual novels. I don't know why. Well, that's game over, I guess. Okay, that was pretty predictable. Alright. Hold out our hand, because this always is the correct option, so let's do it. Wow, it took me that long to figure out. You had to read all the inner voices in order to progress the story. Alright.
分かってくれたか、いい。
ああ、分かった。お前の言いたいことはすべて。
俺とお前は分かり合える。こうして対話を果たした以上、友人だ。
He did not just say that. That's crazy, bro.
友人か。いいや、違うな。
No, that's wrong. Ugh.
でも僕には通じない。情報空間に張り巡らされたお前の網に気づかないと思ったか。
なんだと。
時間は十分にあった。お前はずっと僕に仕掛けていた。そしてこの僕の時間はお前の王はすでに掴んでいる。逃げられはしない。バンダースナッチ。
何を言うんだ、ギー。
Yeah, look at him panic. Look at him panic.
情報空間で我が翼にかなう人間はいない。お前の意識のすべては
Oh my gosh, chill, man.
この俺が食らう。
He broke character.
さえも俺のものだ。
Alright.
確かに人間ならそうだろう。だが
He is behind me. He who can grasp you.
貴様
Oh,
機械を使ったな。
why wouldn't I?
ドクターギー。
Oh, he's mad. No, he's actually pressed. The iron door broke down on the third strike. Addie bit her lip. How many of them were there?
第一級の情報犯罪確認されました。処刑。
What the heck? Why do they talk like that? What? Is that like a corrupted upper tier soldier? A first class information crime has been confirmed for execution. Like, what do you talk like that?
違反者への無裁判処刑は許可されていい。
What is wrong with him, bro? Nah. He's possessed somehow. Look at his face. That can't be normal, bruh. It was an upper tier soldier who had been breaking down the door. One of the knights protecting the upper tier and its laws. Genocidal enforcers. Half-energized people who'd quit being human. Armor covered its entire body, so it's literally like an actual soldier. Like, okay. Something was writhing within its open helmet. Oh. She could see disgusting, inhuman flesh. Yes, no longer human. It's no fantastic mutant either. Hey, yo. Maybe it's been possessed by a creature. Not that it changes anything. He'd asked her to do this. He who was currently sleeping. She stood in the way of the upper tier soldier and felt the presences of Kia and the automation behind her. Neither of them spoke. She wanted to praise them both for not screaming, but that was for later. What is wrong with him? The upper tier soldier had clearly gone mad. It was under something else's influence. Yeah, that's what I thought. That was definitely not its normal appearance. She didn't recognize it. She had no memory of a monster shaped like that. What was it? What was being done to it? It held its large executioner's sword in both hands. Ooh. Yo, she kinda... Turn the other way a little bit. I need to... she kinda bad. I need to stop. Gi, you are one lucky man. You are... okay. I'll extend my retracted claws and swipe. The large sword blocked her claws with one awkward thrust. The upper tier soldiers' movements weren't sharp. That meant Addy wouldn't be killed too quickly. No ordinary upper tier soldier would be like this. Their speed rivaled Addy's at times, and speed equaled strength. What? The violator... What? What is he even saying? It's sort of my claws cross paths. And I'm feeling an inhuman weight behind its blocks. The sensation of weight was making up for the soldier's lack of speed. Was its upper body strength really that ferocious? But its motion still seemed unnatural. Addy could feel it. She could win. Due to its mechanical movements, the upper tier soldier had lost all of its flexibility. Without its fractal combat though, the soldier was no longer anything more than a machine. It only saw Addy as an obstacle. She had a feeling. I'm not its prey? Then who's it after? It's going for Kia, surely. The black cat quickly began to search for eyes within the helmet. Her golden eye comprehended all of the upper tier soldiers' movements. I don't know why, but I think I know who it's after. It was after Gi. Oh. Never mind. Even as they crossed blades, it aimed for Gi. That was half the reason why its combat movements were so dull. It's aiming for Gi, while the black cat Addy is in front of it? Addy! That's kind of clean. Okay, Addy. The princess waking up the... Okay. No. You... She got some riz. Yo, he's going crazy. The armor swung open with a scream. Heavy firearms hidden within every gap available between its organs deployed and aimed their muzzles straight at Gi. I don't know, dog. What? He lost his rabbit-ass mind, bruh. Gi's still sleeping. It's fine. You won't have to see this. Okay, Addy. Oh, they gonna be mad as shit. They're gonna be livid up there. The sound of a clock. Is it time? It continues to call. The second hand moves. It stops, pointing right at 1 o'clock. It is a pocket watch of white silver. It is a pocket watch carried by one man. The golden spiral staircase towering into the darkness. Pay attention. Try to figure out who these people are. Okay, no, we know one of them is the prince. That's for sure. But pay attention to their mannerisms. See what their motivations are. Because I am very unsure. The man standing at the foot of it is none other than the silver watch's owner. With his master in the corner of his eye continuing to climb the golden spiral staircase, the man continued to gaze at the watch motionless. His master. Okay. The man continued gazing at the watch and spoke, like a chrome-built, machine-wound doll in an inorganic voice.
さあばんか貴様にやれるかどうか惨めな機械使い我らが意見貴様のあらゆる力は働くまいせめていいように
It's like they're plotting against his downfall. They're plotting. Oh my god, they're plotting against Guy's downfall. It seems like I really don't know. So we should get a scene, you know, of the master, right? The guy who says cluck cluck clack chrome or whatever. Pretty soon here, I think. I think that's how it usually goes. While holding her silence, Kia gazed at her. The steel her continued. Oh my god. The steel her who continued to stand silently. She who Guy said was an automation. The harsh, echoing metallic sounds bothered her, but she was sure Addie would be fine. She'd stop the fearsome knight. As long as Guy was there, Addie would protect him. That's why. That was why Kia had been watching her. The entire time since the door was broken in, she'd been gazing at her. The beautiful her who was covered in steel. Those eyes which seemed to be made of glass. Within Kia's vision, that girl performed a strange action. Ignoring Addie and the knight continuing their fight, as if being tempted by something, she's extending both of her hands toward Guy, slowly, silently approaching Guy. She gripped that pale neck with all her might with an expressionless face. She's choking Guy out? She hadn't realized that Kia was gazing at her. The sounds of Addie's battle at her back, Kia softly approached. It's as if she's trying to strangle him. I knew it, bro. I knew there was something off with this automation. I silently touch her shoulder. This music, man.
椅子に腰掛けたまま目を閉ざした男。医師、ギー、その首に両手をかけていた。殺すために、殺さなくてはいけない。私はこのままの私であるためには、私の中で誰かがそう言うから、だから私はその声に従おうとしたはずなのに。
Is she being influenced by Bandersnatch or something? I mean, she is an automation, so would she technically be a part of information space? I'm really not sure. It's tough.
離してお願い。あなたをきっとギーが助けてくれる。あなたはもう大丈夫だから。あなたの心に開いた穴塞がなきゃダメね、ルアー。私は自動人形。人形だなんて言わないで。あなたはルアー、人間なのだから。私は人間ですか？この鋼鉄の人形か。かわいい女の子。私、人間なのですか？私が人間。つぶやいて、私の瞳の見つめる先には少女の小さな手があって、その手、私は逃げるようにすがりつく。
I feel slow when Bandersnatch was saying he enclosed the girl in steel. This was what he meant. Bandersnatch turned her into a robot or something? I mean, I don't know how that's possible, but I mean, in this world of mutations, like, I can believe it. So it was her the whole time. Oh, that is freaky. Sticking out of its long neck was a spring screw. The screaming shadow revealed its true form. A form seemingly made up of mutated metals, like a beast constructed from steel. Its whole body became exposed as information space began to grate around it. The skin covering its huge body was deathly pale, the same color as the terrified humans. A fantastic metallic entity in the form of a warped dragon. Those red eyes gouged out human minds. Its long, extended tongue shattered human minds. A beast. A true and genuine beast. This is no human. This is no statue made of iron. He knew. All of the nerves in Guy's body shivered naturally. His body, used to terror, shook and became numb. That sick feeling was none other than terror. This beast called forth the original terrors of the human race. A creature. That's what my rationality calls it. A spring screw sticking out of its long neck is producing a grinding sound. It wasn't the true metallic entity. It was the fantastic high-density information entity, Bandersnatch. Out of all the creatures, it was the only one with intelligence that purposely chose information space as its domain. It once brought about many casualties during the revival 10 years ago. It devoured engine energy and gouged out human minds. One of the 41 creatures that devoured people. One of the 41 great terrors that covered the city. There's no way I wouldn't know. The creatures. They are terror given powerful form. It twisted the city plan and tried to reconstruct a malicious version of the ideal city. Once, there had been a theory blaming this thing for the impoverishment in each and every tier. It was the very thing that called the people, telling them to give up with a sweet, alluring voice. It continued to devour their humanity, leaving holes deep in their mind. A horrifying thing. A dark thing. Guy held out his hand toward the high-density information entity that wouldn't stop sneering. A steel-colored hand overlaps Guy's right hand. Persona, come on, bring it out, bring it out. Yep, there you go. The right hand of steel. Tears through the darkness. Tears? Tears. Tears through the darkness. covered in a steel helmet, a single light shining sharply.
ならば僕は諦めない。少なくともお前の前では絶対にルアー・クラインの心はもうお前には食わせない。クリッタバンダースナッチ。
That is so hard. That is so hard. The way he says creature Bandersnatch? Oh my gosh, man. Why does everything in Japanese have to be so hard for no reason? He silently extended his right hand forward. He also extended his steel right hand forward as if tracing a path. It moves. Yes, this thing moves. It actually moves as I will it. Nothing was wrong with his vision. There was no clown. Instead, he knew that there was a fantastic shadow behind him. He extended his steel arm and saw the same things as him. The mid-sized creature peering down. One of the 41 deaths. Even without activating his equation, he could see it. He wiped out the presence, bringing him panic. He and Guy glared at the warped information entity's core. My right hand. It directs the steel hand as if it were my own. This isn't the phenomenon equation. However, somehow it feels real. There was something that he at his back could do. There was something that he and Guy needed to do. What must I do with this hand? I know the answer. Just like with Salem. You are mad, bro. With Guy standing in its way, the information entity screamed. It tore through the surrounding information space, producing phenomena in its wake. He could clearly see things which drilled through the mind. Guy's right eye had already captured everything about the creature. Metal claws opening huge holes in human minds. Weapons that killed minds and hearts. A phenomenon of death capable of breaking down humans from the inside. Those metal claws rose up. The targets were Guy and him. Its metallic claws tear apart information space so fast. My eyes can't follow them. Mortal bodies could hardly hope to dodge them, except perhaps for Pukill soldiers with their sharply honed nervous reflexes, or heavy-engined humans with nerve reconstruction. But even if they managed to dodge the claws, their minds would have been sliced apart by the torn information space, and yet he was alive. Guy still lived. He stood there even without a scratch, in the very space the claws had drilled such deep black holes into. Ooh, this voice acting. Don't cry, it's so hard. He glared at the roaring information entity with his right eye. That was probably a cry of panic just now. It destroyed people's cranial nerves, planting seeds of death or insanity within. And yet he was alive. Guy still hadn't died. He probably would have died if this had happened not too long ago. But right now, the steel him was protecting Guy. He wouldn't die, not yet. He focused his mind into his glaring right eye. His right eye saw all of the sneering information entity. I can't read right now. Oh my lord. Creatures are indestructible. Physical destruction is impossible. In the case of Bandersnatch, the sole means of destruction is incineration of all information. The mental death Bandersnatch. An information entity with a domain in information space, protected as if by the gods. Therefore, humans couldn't possibly kill it. The sole means of destruction was complete incineration. Therefore, humans absolutely could not kill it. No one can burn something which hides in information space. However... My right eye sees, as if coupled with my right hand. tearing apart, melting and wiping out. My right hand is a blade wrapped in flames. This right hand that burns beasts to the core. His right hand was a blade summoned from an open steel chest. Together with flames of the utmost temperatures, it enveloped Bandersnatch, incinerating the beast in an instant. The creature was enveloped and broken down by the high temperature blade before it even had a chance to scream. The remnants of that tremendous flame were left behind, as if blown apart. The huge hole in information space shook. Here we go again. Alright. So this is apparently the master of the guy who we saw before. So is the guy we saw before possibly the prince? And this guy, like, controlling the prince? Here's one thing I noticed. Look at this guy's left hand. Compare this guy's left hand with his right hand. See how his left hand looks really warped and mutated? It's as if... I don't know. That's a bit sus to me. That's a bit suspicious. I don't know what's up with that. I mean, look, yeah, on his left hand, look how one of the fingers is, like, bent at an unnatural angle. I think these guys are evil. Ugh, that is so hard. He's saying, my dream, my love takes form. Isn't there like a whole, like, ball of just evil up there? I don't know what it is. He climbs, he climbs, he climbs. One master climbs the golden spiral staircase. See how they refer to him as master? So, yeah, I got that correct in thinking that he's the master of that other guy. He is the controller. He is the Grand Prince. Oh, never mind. Okay, I wasn't paying attention clearly. This is the Grand Prince. Okay, he's the fool. The king of Inganock. The magician and scholar who discovered the phenomenon equation. He climbs the golden spiral staircase. One step at a time. Even now, he aims for the peak. He desires that at the highest place. And that which stands at the peak laughs. Even now. He says, at the end of the golden spiral staircase, my dream, my love takes form. Let's see what this ball of just pure evil has to say. It lies at the end of the golden spiral staircase, a dark confined space where the dregs of the king's dream sleep. He who is trapped within the darkness laughs. Even now. He who is trapped within the darkness laughs. Even now. He raises a voice of exaltation and extends his hand. However, there's no way that hand will move. Under the darkness, that hand merely writhes. It should be doing that. However... Huh? His left hand... Huh? Moves forward. Oh... Something is about to awaken, I don't know what. Things are not looking good. My work is complete. He'd lost some of his wages by paying Addie's bodyguard fee, inconvenience fee, and making me fight an annoying battle apology fee. That's funny. Even so, he received enough to maintain his current lifestyle for a while. Even if he went and obtained some valuable medicines or gathered a number of nutrients, he'd still be fine. My work is complete. Ruaha Klein has also been saved. Someday her mind will return from that open hole in information space. A subtle incongruity. His head hadn't been feeling well the past few days. A strange pressure remained. Guy didn't know the precise cause. You noticed how when Guy was using the, what you call it? Nah, wait, what do you call it? The Kikai. You noticed when Guy was using the last Kikai, when he was using the Kikai, he pretty much repeated like the same lines as he did before. It was like very unchanged. I don't think that's really relevant to the story, but it's just kind of interesting. A strange pressure remained. Guy didn't know the precise cause. He didn't feel like investigating it. It would heal on its own if he left it alone. It wasn't that serious. Feeling something amiss, Guy lazily swung his head around. The kitchen entered his vision. He could see the girl's back. Was Kia cooking something? Sounds and a smell. One person stood beside Kia as she happily cooked. Addie. Is it Addie? Someone with unfamiliar footfalls. One girl gazing intently at the undying smile on Kia's face.
新鮮な卵とパン。こんなにたくさん手に入るなんて。ねえ、見てこの卵。お皿の上に割ってもプルプルするわ。はい、プルプルしています。
Oh, I had my mic muted, but I audibly gasped. Oh! Ruaha is here. Yo. Kia really changed Ruaha. Kia is something else. Kia is seriously something else. It's like she has this ability to touch people's hearts whenever she makes contact with them. And Ruaha was an automation. This is crazy. What is Kia? I think Kia is a human, but seriously, what are her origins? I am curious.
Hi.
I know her name. Her name was Ruaha. Her full name was Ruaha Klein. Mr. Arthur Klein had left her a name long before covering her in steel, Ruaha. The one girl left behind in a castle of books. She wasn't an automation, but an engine human. Very similar, yet truly different things. She's a human. Guy remembered something that the mechanical Morimoto had told him yesterday.
エンジンヒューマンの成功率な。それは決してゼロじゃないんだよ。かつて10年前には交流があった。かの北欧帝国の皇帝様。知ってるか？
Have you heard of it?
かのクセルクセス旧世陛下がエンジンヒューマンだって話は業界じゃ通説だ。要は延命させたいと願う熱意と財力。それは愛情とは断言できないがね。
I can't say whether or not that passion has to be a form of love. Oh, why'd I read that?
見当もつかんさ。だが不可能ではないんだ。どちらかがどちらかを補えばいい。
So Kia really is just that bitch. She really... Wow. She really is just that person. I'm telling you, Kia has that ability. It has to be like an ability. I don't know. I guess it comes natural to her, so it's hard to say it's an ability, but I mean, wow. I guess it's because she's probably from outside Inganock. So it's like, yeah, I mean, she hasn't been exposed to the inner workings of Inganock for so long, where, I mean, she just degrades as a person. Yes, it's definitely not impossible. He could hear the voice of Ruaha and Kia. One voice was Mary, the other inorganic. Guy suddenly thought, my job was to save this girl named Ruaha. That was the request he'd gotten through Airly. He'd already received his payment. However, why had things turned out this way? Why is she in my apartment? How did I end up taking care of another girl? He could see how they were doing. Their gorgeous cooking was about to come to an end.
食事ができたから手を洗ってから食卓についてくださいね。ねえルアハ。殺菌消毒は健康維持の基礎です。留意してください、ドクター・ギー。いや、僕は気にしないよ。別段構わない。いいえ、ギー。キーアの健康維持への留意です。なるほど。
A sigh. Guy shrugged a little. He said that and... The rain pours down. It doesn't matter how much of it falls. The sky is the same as always. A dark sky. Only the sky was the same as 10 years ago. I couldn't read that for a sec. Yes, only the sky. Everything else was twisted 10 years ago. Almost everything in the city had changed into something fantastical. The multi-tiered steam engine city Inganock. The edge of the world. The rain poured down. All the way down into the city's base, the lowest tier. The gray sky that would never change. That alone made it noble. This is the city of Inganock. The only fantastic city that none speak of. The despair 10 years ago. Everything warped during the revival. Everything was destroyed among numerous groans and tears. Tears. Tears? Tears. Only the sky. Only the sky of eternal gray clouds. I've seen it all. All of this world and its broken people. The rain poured down silently. It passed through countless tears flowing into the sewers. A great quantity of rain poured down to the lowest tier like a waterfall. The rain kept flowing. Like all of the tears people had shed these past 10 years, unceasing, seeping below the ground. At the end of those countless seeping drops, just where did they lead? Far, far below ground. Below the enormous city of Inganock, constructed atop an expansive lake filled with artificial soil. The infinite darkness that no one in the city dared to approach. There were many reasons for that, such as the monster nests and groups of ferocious ogres hidden within. And the violent dragon that slept there. Yes, the fairy tale dragon. In this day and age, which the Sekuyans would call the 20th century, the city was afraid of a fairy tale dragon. It was quite strange. Were those the words of madmen? No, they weren't. That was Inganock. A fantastic city revived with various illusions. It wasn't strange at all for a man-eating dragon to be there. The city's underground. The infinite darkness that no one dared to approach. However, there was one who didn't fear the darkness. One man. His name was Randolph. My boy That crazy guy Randolph? Of course he was the... Okay. Out of all the people, I can't even be surprised that he's not afraid to go underground. That guy is bonkers. He's a bit loopy. The insane Randolph. The man who, within the darkness, held up a shining lantern powered by a small steam engine. Within the darkness, feared by all, it was said that Randolph continued to dig indifferently. Every day, every day, every day.
北北西より偏西風が吹きすさぶ。大地は本日も航路をそれず、輝きはまぶたの中にある。それでこそ我が悲しみ。慈しむべき銀のエンジンが門を叩き、鍵はどこかと問いかける。ああ、私は本日も穴を掘ると。今夜はだいぶ奥まで来た。硬い土だ。
He always said tonight, whether it was morning or midday or night. There certainly was no morning or midday there, since the sky was always covered in gray. However, there was a curtain of darkness that fell at night. Even after the city's countless streetlights came on, one could easily tell it was night, but it couldn't be helped. This man, Randolph, was insane. He shut his eyes away from many words as if they were darkness itself. However, only his head was insane. He'd always said it was night, and he'd whispered incomprehensible things for years, but it was only his head. Everything else was fine. His eyes, his face, his nose, as well as his hands. For Inganock, they were fine. He did have one of the many beastly forms of fantastic mutants, but that was perfectly normal. Randolph certainly was insane, but that was only his head. On the outside, he was an excellent Tanuki man. 10 years ago, he might have been considered a monster.
またお前たちか。今夜はどんなようだ。忙しくも銀のエンジンが騒いでいるのだから、私はあまりお前たちに時間を割けぬ。いやー、子供たち。
He called out into the darkness to the same people he'd conversed with before, namely to the empty darkness itself. No one was there, and yet Randolph spoke.
またこんな老いぼれに言おうと暇なのか。何なんだね。狂人にどんなご用だい。
You mustn't. You mustn't. Oji-san, the water will dry up. Was that a definitive voice? Or was it just an illusory voice that only he could hear?
今夜は雨だよ、子供たち。
He's definitely hearing things. Please cheer the water up. Please, Oji-san, please.
子供たち。この前とは別の子かな。無茶を言ってはいけない。私はほら、この通り穴を掘らなくてはいけないんだ。人柱は別の人に頼みなさい。可愛い子供たち、もしくは子供よ。
You mustn't. The tears will overflow, Oji-san. Please stop the tears. I'm begging you.
意外に涙もろいんだな、お前は。お前たち。姿もないのに何があったんだいな。何が。10年前に置いてきたい。
It's not me. It's not me either. The water is crying.
こんなことを言うやつだね。愛しい子供たち。お前たちが誰だか知らないの。水は最初から泣いてるじゃないか。
The man shook the dirt off his shoulders. Dirt produced by countless engines, and blackened by the infinite smog it absorbed.
知らないのかね。すべての水は涙から生まれてるのだ。海という名の神の涙がこぼれ落ち。
A child covered by a hood. That girl's hair looked horribly wet. But that's just her hair. Not a drop anywhere else. She walked with a gentle pitter-patter. She looked up at the town with a strange expression. She tilted her head far to one side. Why? Her black eyes asked, though there was nobody there to ask. She was standing in the lower tiers of the city, in the infinitely crowded street which knew no night. Not on the lively and crowded main road, but in a quieter place. Respectable children wouldn't walk around the lower tier back alleys, as if there's such a thing as a respectable child in the lower tiers. Anyway, that girl was there, covered by her black hood, all by herself. She walked with a pitter-patter and stood straight up. Who is that? We're getting new characters like all the time.
何かをお探しかい？綺麗な瞳のお嬢さん。ここは一人で探し物は難しい。小さな子にとっては小さな子にとって。
探しているの。
The girl answered the voice. She answered the shadow in the alleyway where the voice was coming from. She answered with a delicate, shivering voice, like that of a small bird or kitten. The shadow in the alley wondered if her throat had mutated. That's crazy.
どちらも正解だ。
Oh,
犬の子。影の猫だ。
it's Iru.
私はどこにでもいて、呼べばにゃーと鳴く。そこいらにいる老いぼれた猫のじじいだよ。
For being such like a big boss in the story, for being like a mysterious man, like, you know, because I mean, when they were describing him, it seemed like he was this big mysterious man, big boss who would just do anything he wanted. But it's like, whenever he comes on the screen, I just can't take him seriously whatsoever. This guy is so goofy.
名はいるという。人は老いぼれ猫だとか、老子であるとか呼ぶけれども、好きに呼ぶといいよ。にゃ。
He really said that.
さて、どこなのかな。はてさて、
Oops.
何をお探しかな。おやおや、面白い子だ。それもわからないのかな。はあ、なるほど、それは。時にお前さん、名は何という。はあ、自分の名もわからぬか。はあ、いや、構わないよ。そういう輩もここではそう珍しくはないのだからね。はあ、名もわからぬが、何かを探しているのは確かと言える。さて、どうしたものかな。そんな顔しなくてもいいよ、幼子。わしが案内しよう。この。
Yeah, see, I was pronouncing it right. Inganock. It's Inganock. Okay, I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, it sounded like the most, like, wavy pronunciation of it, you know what I mean? It sounds just right. Why does he say that? Oh yeah, oh yeah. What?
魔境の年相にて生まれた幼子といえ、あるいは
Or perhaps.
いや、構うまいよ。おいで、わしはこれでも顔が広い方でね。にゃ。
The young girl asked about everything she saw. The old Iru, the fantastic mutant Ezek, held out one of his peculiarly large and fleshy hands. Hard flesh that looked soft. The young girl grasped that hand, tightly, not letting go, in place of saying thank you.
では出発しよう。さあ、 お前さんの嘘物探しだ。
We're back in hell. Let's go. Every time this song comes on, man. It is a banger, though. Alright. The city's lower tiers. The third commercial ward, also known as the infinitely crowded street. As usual, the place was filled with people that had once been called human. Infinite masses of inhuman figures came and went. This would have been a strange scene 10 years ago, but now this was the city's standard appearance. A man with the face of a cricket. A woman with the wings and talons of an owl. A youngster who looks like a mouse. And people who hid their forms underneath cloaks. This was normal. Teacher Iru's form blended in naturally. What?
わしはエンジンとは関わりなき身だよ。けれど君と君の家族と友人たちにはエンジン。
Oh. I interrupted him. He's kind of like the old man that just goes around and everyone loves him because it's like, I don't know, maybe he made an impact or something. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure of the history of Iru. But, I mean, he's apparently really well regarded, or I guess well known, I guess you could say.
生活を支える動力たるエンジンだの。毎日健やかに不調なく動くようにとね。まあ、まじないだ。ありがたきお言葉でございます。老子は今日も老子でいらっしゃいますね。年老いた猫のざれ言だ。何事もほどほどがよい。
Humans with their whole bodies hidden beneath cloaks and oxygen masks. They thanked him reverently before leaving. What's going on? The young girl tilted her head in curiosity. Was it that hard to breathe here? The oxygen masks they were wearing were certainly designed to make it easier. It wouldn't be unusual in an engine-type mining site atop an iron ore vein. She'd certainly heard about that before, but who'd told her about that? The young girl tilted her head. What was it?
異業化の少ない人々はああして吸い込まぬようにしておるのよ。空気を気休めだがね。まあ気休めは重要だ。かの41の会の一つたる幼樹の種も異業化も空気を媒介して発生するとな。この10年での流行だ。少しでも気休めになればそれでよい。
So just the psychological factor of having the oxygen mask and, you know, having like the perceived sense of you being safe because of your mask helps them get through Inganock. It helps them better than the oxygen mask does. That's crazy.
そうか、わかったか。賢い子だね。正直な子だ。賢い子も正直な子もどちらも良い子だ。
良い子、良い子。だが、老子様、ご機嫌うるわしゅう、しゅう。
Seriously, why does it talk like a Roblox? Roblox? What? I play too much Roblox. Why does it talk like a robot? Good girl, good girl. Gaga! Old teacher sama. Good day to you, sir. Whoosh. Like, what are you doing? You are not a robot. You kind of are. You look like one, actually.
これは何？とても可愛いものが動いてる。
エンジンセールだな。 そう珍しくもないが、10年前からよく見かける。エンジン工場から生まれ出た幻想生物なのだが。かわいい。かわいい。
えへへ、ありがとうございます。老子様と黒絹のあなた。
I guess since it's literally from the engine factories, it's like, I mean, of course it's gonna sound robotic. The lump of iron, the engine spirit, bowed in thanks. Just like the people from before. It was so cute it seemed like a joke. The young girl naturally laughed. As she chuckled, the small animal made a sound. This time it might have been something like fish blowing bubbles on the water surface. Small, delicate, it's laughing.
気に入ったようだね。よし、では道連れとすることにしようか。おいで、そこのエンジン精霊203055や。
This guy really knows all the engine spirit numbers. Oh my gosh, what is up with this guy? He really got the whole... he really got the knowledge of all of Inganock in his hands. And it hasn't corrupted him. He's just strolling around, you know, happy as a bird in Inganock, just befriending the children. He's as happy as a bird. And then, the small black shadow walks, squish squash. The large black shadow walks, pitter patter. The small kettle shadow walks, clink clunk. One animal, one human, and one machine. It would have been a mysterious group were this not the fantastic city. They wouldn't attract any attention in this city. People thanked the old teacher Iru from time to time, but that was all. I recognize this voice, but I can't... I'm trying to think. Is this Alyssa? This might be Alyssa. I knew it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Alyssa, sometimes you're out of pocket, man. I'm gonna be real. I gotta be 100.
さてどうだろう。今日も美しいよ、アリサ・グレッグ。
あらあら、これはご丁寧に。どうかしら、一服。うちの靴なら上物ぞろい。お望みとあらば、煙の夢と女の夢。
Hey, yo! Some skilled ones, man. Alright. I mean, alright. I mean, I bet they can do some crazy things with their mutations. I gotta be real. They can do some crazy things. What can you do with that snake tail right there? I mean, bro, I'm just thinking of all the possibilities right now. I'm not trying to get bricked up right now, bro. Nuh-uh. No way. Me either, honestly. She is so out of pocket, bro. Bro, she would do anything to get a quick buck. Sekien heaven? What? Oh, I guess you're gonna get so high you just go to heaven, I guess? I don't know, dog. Hey, yo, nah, I don't know about her, bruh. I don't know about Alyssa. She a bit loopy.
ここいらには本気の連中も多いですからね。何せここは無限不夜城、仮想無限雑踏街。お気をつけて、老子。黒絹の子、あなたもね。それにお供のあんたもね。
あいあい、不習。命令受託いたしました。注意します。
いい子だ。それじゃあ老子、ごきげんよう。また今度。
金はないのでまたここで話そうか。明日も生きていてくれよ、レディ。
あなたもね、素敵な老子。
A suspicious but comforting and pretty snake lady. Her snake belly made decidedly upbeat sounds. Oh my god. That person seemed nice, but the young girl felt like she shouldn't walk around alone. Not just there, but anywhere in the city. She saw unpleasant men with reptilian faces and badly behaving men with oxygen masks. There seemed to be a lot of people like that. People who didn't thank the old teacher. Good thing there was 2 of them. No, 3 of them. The small black shadow walks squish squash. The large black shadow walks pitter patter. The small kettle shadow walks clink clunk.
わあ、猫のおじいちゃんだ。あれ、エンジン精霊と女の子。
Oh, it's the trio. What's up, guys?
もうルーポ、ちゃんと老子様ってお呼びするの。ごきげんよう、老子様。
Voices from the depths of the back alley. 3 small shadows popped their heads out. 3 of them gasping he, who, and me. 1 child for each member of the girls' group. 2 children that looked human and 1 that looked like a snake.
老子のおじいちゃま、こんにちは。今日はお散歩ですか？お散歩。ボロンたちも。お散歩。こんにちは。こんにちは。こんにちは。こんにちは。
An energetic boy and girl. A withdrawn girl. The 3 frolicked around happily, running round and round the old teacher Iru. Very cute in a way. The young girl giggled like a cricket. Pretty, the girl said. Strange, the boy said. Yes, the snake girl agreed. The young girl's eyes paused as she tilted her head again. What was wrong with their arms and legs? They were the color of dull iron. They were hard, as if made of iron.
何これ気になる？森本のおっちゃんがつけてくれたんだ。ギー先生がお金くれたの。こーらルーポ、おっちゃんじゃないでしょ、おじいちゃま。エンジンアーム見るの珍しい？エンジンアーム。病気って変異すごくしちゃうから。あなたは手足大丈夫なの？すごい、そんな子初めて見たかも。ごめんね。なんで謝るの？すごいんだよ。机の角っこにぶつけても全然痛くないんだ。平気なんだもん。そうです。鉄の体は丈夫です。でも雨には注意です。帰ったらちゃんと油さしてね。
That's... wow. You have to oil them up. Hey, yo! Not that type of way. You have to, like, lubricate them with oil. Because they're engine legs, right? It makes sense. Wow. You have to perform maintenance on your artificial legs. Wow. I love the setting for this game. Seriously, the whole engines, the whole freaking this world in general, dystopian world, and mutated people, and just smog, and this is such a good setting. It's really up there. It really is up there. Not on the level of Higurashi, but like pretty close.
わかってるよーだ。いい先生みたいなこと言う精霊だ。
そうだね。精霊先生だ。ちゃんと言うことを聞くのだよ。君たちのいる工場は近かったかな。あまり遠くまで行かないこと。知らない場所へ行ってはいけない。
Okay, or I guess hi. The young girl was a little surprised. There were many nice people, but this huge castle was filled with unpleasant things. No, bigger than a castle. This gloomy castle-like city. Those kids had no trouble walking, even with those steel arms and legs she'd never seen. Teacher Iru had mentioned Yuki and fantastic somethings earlier. She was sure something like that was eating away at those children's limbs. But she was also sure that such things were normal here. The young girl sighed many times over. The small black shadow walks, squish squash. The large black shadow walks, pitter patter. The small kettle shadow walks, clink clunk. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, these two. The young girl was surprised again. After all, she'd just been told there was an old turtle here. Instead, there were two cute little lamb girls. They looked like a little older than the kids from before, but their faces seemed to say they owned the place. Their bouncing ears were adorable. Their eyes flickered and sparkled. These are the only ones that do not fit the setting whatsoever. They are way too like happy and cute. Happy-go-lucky. Right. They called the city hell. That's funny. That's what I've been calling this city. They really gonna snitch on him for no reason, bruh. Not even snitching, just falsely accusing. I don't know about these girls, man.
これ喧嘩も悪態も良くないことだよ。いけないな、二人と。この子が怖がってしまう。悪いことはお前さんたちがせずとも十分他の連中がやっている。これ以上増えたら都市が崩れてしまうにゃ。はーい。さて困った。スタニスワフの亀爺にこの子のことで相談があったのだがね。これでは情報は返そうもない。
老師様は情報をお求め？それなら雑踏街一の情報屋のあちしたちにご用命をどうぞのことよ。ねえ、一体どんな情報をお求め？また迷子かしら？キーヤみたいな難度 WA の迷子ちゃん？はあ、腕が鳴るわよ、アグネス。
さてはて、お前さんたちその調子ではさほど情報も揃えてなかろうに。耳がキュッとしているよ。何かあったかい？
何にもありませんのよ。どうしたの？何かあったの？そんな顔してる。何にもありませんのよ。
はあ、いつもは朗らかな子らなのだが、今日はいかにもトゲトゲしい。はてさて、どうしたのだろうか。いや。
Why did he have to end that part at he had to end the oh my god. He had to add the meow at the end, bro. I don't know why he did, but he did. He was just like, my word, what happened to you? ... meow. Like, bro, just finish the sentence. Don't even say meow at that point. Like, that was so forced. Whoa. Right. Two cute pink lamps. They were spinning and smiling so happily, and yet they callously mentioned that this place was hell. She didn't want them to say that. The young girl sighed once more, but this place could very well be hell. She didn't know anything. She was meeting nice people, but wasn't that only because of the old cat? The young girl grabbed onto Teacher Iru's coat sleeve. The smell of a foreign country. She was sure it was Sekien. The small black shadow walks squish squash. The large black shadow walks pitter patter. The small kettles shadow walks clink clunk.
これはモノレールというある種の機関車のようなものだというが、わしも詳しいことは知らないのだよ。この因果ノックはとても大きい10階建ての高層建築を何倍も何倍も何十倍にもしたような積層とした。その名の通りいくつもの層プレートで構成されているわけだ。ああ、わからなくても無理はない。よほど深いところにいたのだろうから。総移動には階段をのしのし登るのもわしは好きなのだがね。
モノレールで移動するんですね。どこへ行くんですか？一層上ですか？それとも下ですか？
そうだね。一層一番上まで登ってみるかい。
ガガピー！いけません。
What?
上層には上層貴族様と上層兵以外は
Oh. He was freaking out there.
パーソナルエンジンカード剥奪の上に死刑死刑死刑。
上層というのはほらあそここの都市のてっぺんにあるお城だよ。小さいお城が見えるかな。
小さい。
ああ、小さく見えるかね。実際は相当に大きい縮尺の問題だ。
そうなの。
そこには入れないから、そのすぐ下、螺旋状の階段があるだろう。大きな階段の総プレートが上層階段公園と呼ばれているものだ。あそこへ行こうか。
あそこで探し物の探し物ですか？ふしゅ
何もかも初めてのようだからね。せっかくなら綺麗なものを見るといい。何かね。
いえ、さすが老子、泰然としてらっしゃるです。ただ。
Then the talking engine spirit toppled over. Now that the monorail's doors were open, people were getting off the engine vehicle. So many. She was surprised that so many people could fit inside. So many people had been tightly packed in together. Why, if it isn't Teacher-sama, please, you first. Didn't he save a child with the phenomenon equation? I heard he helped the Grand Prince once. Holy! In any event, he's one to be thankful for. It's such a waste for someone like him to be in a place like this. The compressed people opened their mouths one after the other, talking about the old teacher Iru. She was surprised.
すごいいる。
やれ何がすごかろうかね。わしはただの猫のじじいだよ。
And yet, his beard was moving, twitching enjoyably. The young girl felt a little happier. The old cat was so good at looking after people, and everyone spoke so happily to him, it made her feel comfortable. This is good, though I'm still a bit scared. She was scared, but there were still people in the city. I walk outside through the open iron door. The rain stopped. What's filling my vision now is neither gray or black. The sky was still gray, of course, but in her vision there was so much greenery. The young girl gasped despite herself. Amazing. No stagnant air. Yes, the air up until now had been stagnant, although even the young girl herself had grown used to it. This place was different. There was a lot of vegetation and a lot of green trees. Plants were growing lusciously, singing the praises of life.
すごいことなど一つもないよ。それでは早速釣るとしようか。
ふしゅ。
A herd of green things wriggled at his feet. They were like caterpillars, but like dogs as well. Old teacher Iru petted one, and then he cast his fishing pole, throwing the bob far into the lake. Already? Bro, he is nutting right now. Oh, he is going wild, bro. Yes, sir. What is that? Hey, yo!
この魚を見るのは初めてかな。8年前に発見された顔の怖い魚だがね。しかし煮付けにすれば淡白で良い味わい。よくもしゃべりおる。かわいい鬼おこぜよ。こ を食べるのは両親が傷んでしまう。おお、怒っておる、怒っておる。さすがだ。では話してあげよう。さらばだ。リリース。
リリース。
残念。逃げられてしまったようじゃ。今度はちゃんと釣らねばにゃ。おやおや、嬉しそうだね。どうしたかな。お前さんは鬼おこせの味方だったかな。それは悪いことをした。
ミルは水と親しむのね。
ああ、そうさ。生き物だからね。水と親しむと。
This place is called the Third Park. It's one of the upper-tier staircase parks, Iroh continued with a smile. He pointed to the lower tiers spreading out below them, and his eyes wavered proudly. Old teacher Iroh cleared his throat. She wondered where he'd hidden his fishing pole, as he raised his arms up high as if imitating someone. Oh, why does he know that? So he has worked with the Grand Prince. He has. That pretty much confirmed it. Is he in on it? I am so confused. Nah, I'm sussing you out now. Nah, Iroh, I'm sussing you out now. That's a bit sus, cause I'm sussing out the prince already. So I'm gonna suss you out naturally. You're literally impersonating him. So there are 41 Kikai is what I'm gathering from what he's saying here. There's 41 Kikai and there's 41 creatures, which we already knew that part, but 41 Kikai, which I'm guessing is the steel beings. There's no clown at the edge of my vision. It's like that girl was like similar to Kia in some ways, because she didn't know of her origins and she didn't know anything about the city. Well, okay, I don't know if Kia knows about her origins, but this girl didn't know about her origins. He'd always try not to look at it. For some reason, the clown made him recall the past. Memories of the past. He couldn't remember them very well, since they were all broken up into little pieces. The dancing black clown. He'd wiped it away, but for some reason, he remembered both it and the memories that came with it. That was, yes, 10 years ago. His memories were now tender fragments. Countless memories draped in red and black hues. Memory. A deep moan full of screams and despair. Memory. He'd been haughty, thinking that his hand could save them. He'd been so sure that holding it out could save someone. Memory. Lives slipping through his fingers one by one. Memory. The time when everything in the city began to crumble.
どうして崩れ始めたあの時、確かに唇はそう動いた。
Is this the automation?
答えはない。言葉は聞こえなかった。あの瞬間。きっとあの時、世界と一緒に僕は壊れてしまったのだ。うめき声の中をさまよう。あまたの誰かの涙を無限に見つめながら、彼は自分の両手を深い霧の中をもがくように、悪い夢の中でもだえるように。10年。気づけばもう10年が過ぎていた。この異形都市が生まれて、都市という世界が壊れてから10年。
記憶、それは今でさえ。
見ろよ、いい。ほら、綺麗な炎だ。こんなに燃えて綺麗に。10年前と同じじゃないか。そうだ、同じ。そう、同じなんだ。同じ。まあ、いい？方法はもっと簡単だったんだよ。
記憶。
10年前、人々と大公爵の夢を打ち砕くかの復活がこの都市に権限した。悪夢のような無限儀、肉体の変に年を招く奇妙の旅行。巨大湖の上にあったことも災いして、我らの都市は世界から完全に孤立した。そして41体の俺たちが、クリッターがインガノックに現れた。初めからそこにいただけだが。分かっているのだろう、ギエ。お前は俺たちの仲間だ。そうだろう。ある一点においてのみ人は平等で、その一点で俺たちとお前はつながっている。深く、深くだ。
ああ、そうだな。
もう人間は終わりだ。だから。
記憶。
He opened his eyes. Light was already pouring into his room. It was morning. He thought he could feel the lingering scent of insanity. Guy shook his head to wipe away his visual information. Had he seen that illusion once again? The clown dancing at the edge of his vision. Guy sneering insanity.
まさかね。
The room was certainly filled with signs of mourning. The warped bird's twittering shook his consciousness. Influenced by the equation, his right eye could see light on the other side of the eternally gray mist. As always, the dull sunlight came through the curtains. His brain mutations must have been progressing. He'd hardly used his equation eye at all recently, but it lingered in his right eye for almost 7 hours. His right eye grasped and recognized objects, looking at things in a room other than the curtains and bed. Familiar things. The apartment he couldn't quite call comfortable. The engine-type air conditioning was the pride of his room. The clown illusion which shouldn't exist. When it appeared in his dream, his useless eye didn't react to that right eye of the rose. Even so, his eyes took in the black cat sleeping beside him. Aww. The black cat laid down on the bed next to him. This was also a familiar scene. He never noticed her crawling in, but he always noticed after he woke up. And he was always briefly stressed by the possibility of a murderous intruder. He'd gotten quite used to this over the last 10 years. However, I rarely see the black cat fall fast asleep. The black cat liked to gaze at his sleeping face with a playful smile. He was aware of that. He could easily imagine how she'd respond if he asked that aloud. I mean, she ain't wrong, she ain't wrong. I've heard those words so many times, though it's been a while since I last heard them. Addie, the black cat. The fantastic mutant Pukel woman, a runner whose main hunting ground was the city skyscraper. The crack engines implanted in her body made her one of the fastest warriors out there. Runner's work took place amidst a hail of blades, blood, and bullets. She wouldn't have lived through the last 10 years were she any slower. She must have done a number of jobs last night. You could see several abrasions covering her skin. White skin. Scars on her exposed shoulders. Several deep, faint scars remained, carved into her over the past 10 years. Guy could see them. The largest one was, yes, from that time she protected Guy. A mark from when a barge-chest monster had bitten her. In this city, lives weren't worth much. Even she didn't earn that much rushing through battlefields. That was from before Guy's brain mutated. However, now that he had the phenomenon equation, he could easily remove tonight's wounds. Guy began to extend his hand, and hesitated. Could he avoid waking her? Hey, yo! Oh. Oh. She rarely talked in her sleep, and what she was talking about was far removed from her current self. Bills. He shrugged despite himself. He imagined the female calculator at an engine factory. That line of work would never suit Addie. Was she dreaming of her past? He was a little interested. I held out my hand toward Addie's captivating hair. I held my hand over her head and accurately grasped the location of her brain. Activate cranial organs. Begin substitution healing via phenomenon equation. That which caused impossible phenomena. The phenomenon equation. A powerful light. An original piece of city technology developed by the Grand Prince. It harnessed physics to produce phenomena. Though unable to comprehend her dreams or mental constructs, the equation's light substituted her nerves, returning them to their normal state. Substitution of matter. Part of the basic theory of the phenomenon equation. Something shone brightly. Something reacted to the cracking light he emitted. Guy refused to see what poured out. He averted his eyes to the window. Pouring drops. Are they truly tears? I opened the door silently. That girl must have oiled up the hinges. Normally this thing creaked whenever she opened it. Addie didn't seem to be awake. She must have been in a rather deep sleep. Rare things certainly were piling up. It was still only 6 a.m. Too early for that girl. But that smell was already floating into his nostrils. Sounds, and the scent of food. The sound of cooking synthetic bacon in rationed cooking oil, and its smell. His body had probably lost its appetite in exchange for mastering the phenomenon equation, so he wasn't sure what to think of it. 10 years ago, he might have had an opinion. It was splendid. She was handling the cheap skillet well. He was often surprised by that girl. When he sat down on the sofa, the girl showed up. She was holding plates in one hand, while skillfully undoing her apron with the other. She looked like a Sekien doll. Guy squinted despite himself. For some reason, he thought of the sunlight behind the clouds. She was wearing her indoor clothes. She must have been quite skilled to keep the oil off of them. Kia, a mysterious pink-eyed girl. That's a really different outfit. He didn't say he would eat. Guy never said he'd do something he couldn't. Aside from coffee, he'd have a little bit of fried egg. That was the compromise he eked out of her. Only sunbeams. It hasn't changed. The sky remains the same shade of gray all day. She says with a smile. He laid eyes on her faint smile. Guy shrugged his shoulders, admitting defeat. He wouldn't coerce anyone, ever. That was a rule Guy had decided on 10 years ago. She could call him whatever she wanted. Notice how Guy didn't reject Addie as her wife this time. I mean, he didn't directly say it. She's showing me a smile. I can't beat her with my words. How many days had it been since that girl came here? He thought he'd gotten quite used to it, but at a core level, he really hadn't. Besides, Guy didn't want to get used to it. He remembered. The shadow in the city skyscraper storage building. There was supposed to be another here. That steel girl. She was a human, and she should have been in one of the apartment's second floor rooms. The guest room that Kia slept in. She wasn't here. He couldn't feel that frozen gaze of hers.
そうか。
Although his home's steam energy consumption had increased, he didn't mind as long as there was no problem. Kia had already set the table. They sat next to each other. Ah, so that's it.
では、いただきます。
はい、よろしい。いただきます。たくさん食べてね。
Aww. This is a nice CG. Was that thunder? I legitimately cannot tell if that was thunder or not. Alright, let me save this right quick. Okay, recording is saved. Let's go. This is a really nice CG. During breakfast, all I can hear is the birds twittering. Breakfast was always quiet. Even before the girl came here, and even now. Kia was good at handling a knife and fork. He looked at Kia holding her cup with both hands. She appeared to have already finished eating the bacon and eggs. The bread had disappeared first. She must have liked it. She seemed to enjoy soft bread. 10 years ago, hard bread was the norm, but now Sekien recipes made soft more common. At first, she'd been surprised by its softness. She really was a mysterious girl. Where in the world was she raised? Her bearing, behavior, wardrobe, and the sheer quantity of clothes she owned. She must have been from a higher tier, but in terms of citizen classes, she'd be at least 6th. Since people could fluctuate between tiers in the city, she could have been even higher. And yet, she was moved simply by soft bread. Truly a mysterious girl.
いつになったら教えてくれるのか。
Yeah. Even the old man Stanislaw, who proclaimed himself Crowded Street's fixer, had failed to gather any information on her. Therefore, there was no way of learning who Kia was unless she talked about it herself.
慌てずに飲みなさい。僕の分のパンも食べるかい？
はい。あ、うん、いいの。いいのよ。別にそういうのじゃないのだから。
卵、美味しかったよ。
そうよかった。あ、ちゃんと食べてる。ベーコンは？
食欲がね。
もう、お夕飯は野菜たくさんにするので、その時はちゃんと食べてくださいね。
全処するよ。
He wasn't lying. Guy began to look away from Kia when he suddenly thought of it. He had some free time left before his planned trip. It'd be nice to spend the morning talking for once.
はい、何？
少し話をしようか。ベーコンを食べなかったお詫びに。
話は好き。何のお話？はい、かぶり姫？白雪姫？盛況のおとぎ話じゃなくても。
ああ。
He'd heard some nostalgic names. Fairy tales long lost in the city. Nowadays, such things actually existed in the city. Humans and dwarves who used something resembling magic, as well as yuki fruit, which tempted humans to eternal sleep. Only the happy endings didn't exist. That was why people abandoned all fairy tales. They believed that the city didn't need them. They thought that telling them would only summon frightening things, since all sorts of illusions materialized here.
そうだな。10年前のおとぎ話をしよう。昔はたくさんおとぎ話があった。知っているみたいだけど。
今は違うの？
今はもうおとぎ話は一つしかない。だから昔の10年前の水の話だ。
A Tale of Water. A fairy tale about a water princess. It was said that she lived in a far-off country, a beautiful princess of the water. She was trapped by an evil sorcerer and locked up in a tower. Locked up in there for a long, long time. The princess was sad and cried. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. She spent the entire time in tears. And then, after a while, the princess's poison became full of tears. The princess nearly drowned. in her own tears. However, someone saved the princess. That person had boundless courage. He released the princess from her prison. He called to her, telling her to stop crying. He called to her, telling her to come outside.
君のおかげで思い出したよ。確かこんな話だった。
Is that, what's it called, Rapunzel? I don't remember.
お姫様。それでその子は幸せになったの？
なったとも。みんなが幸せに暮らしてめでたしだ。
そうなの。
Guy saw her expression darken. It seemed that the girl hadn't liked the story. Perhaps it was too short and simplistic? Should he have added a few details to it? Guy shrugged his shoulders, giving up.
お気に召さないかな。すまないね。次はもっと面白い話を思い出すよ。
違うの。素敵なお話。でもギーの言葉が変なのだもの。それでちょっと気になって。
変かな。
だっていつも嘘をついてるんだもの。
嘘はついていないよ。
Lying? An intelligent girl. She always shows it whenever I treat her like a child. They didn't really live happily ever after. The princess turned into bubbles and vanished. With her wish, without any grudges or regrets, she turned into bubbles on the water surface and disappeared. Lies. Everything in the city was like that. Everything was filled with lies, just like Guy. The city was overflowing with clients. This city, its name was Inganock. The city of Inganock. The fantastic city that none speak of. It was once one of the great engine cities of the eastern continent. It had been beautifully equipped to be the world's first multi-tiered complete environment city. Now it was different. A fantastic dreg, isolated and independent. Yes, that's right. Surely no one on the outside spoke of the city. Everything changed with the revival 10 years ago. After being cut off from the outside world by a mysterious mist, Inganock changed and warped. Some said that the city died that day. Certainly had died. Everything changed. The medicine Guy had studied for the sake of humanity lost all meaning, because everyone's body had mutated. Those who changed into fantastic mutants like birds and boars, those who changed into soundless lumps of rock, and those who changed into dying plants. Each and every one. Each and every one of them changed. By now, there was no pure and simple human in the city's lower tiers, including Guy himself. The ideal arcology city, the metropolis that should have been a complete environment constructed on an enormous scale. Even now, traces of that plan were clear in its outward appearance. Beasts and spirits called monsters. Strange diseases beyond human knowledge. Mutations in apparatus. And the 41 creatures. Numerous mutations. Unbelievable lies. That was the true nature of this place. The city was practically made out of lies. Was there a single genuine truth in it?
そんなものがなくとも生きていくことはできる。溺れかけた魚も水面で息をするよ。
I guess so. I traveled around the city today as always, using a trick that feels like a lie. The traveling doctor continuing to break city law. That was his identity now. That was his current lie. It was a role he'd given himself since he'd once been a med student 10 years ago. A false doctor. A walking lie. A trick that couldn't be called medicine. Excising diseases with the phenomenon equation. Healing external wounds. He used to ambiguously think about working as a university doctor someday, but now he was out on the street, dealing with real people. Yes, truly like a lie. He was nothing more than a deception controlling a power that itself seemed untrue.
呼吸を楽にして。大丈夫。あなたの命は助かりますよ。初期の腫瘍です。 安全に取り除ける。心配はいりませんよ、ミスター。
Activate my cranial organs. Release the light of the phenomenon equation. The cracking light substituted body parts. He healed people just as he always did, using the phenomenon equation. A long time ago, he would have been amazed at this. This powerless power. This phenomenon equation. He said the tumor was young, but that was an expedient lie. The panel of light floating in his right eye sent him the precise status of the patient's body as an information entity. I recognize this. The cancer was actually in its final stages. Normally the man couldn't be saved. However, cancer was no match for the cracking light. If genes were twisted, he merely substituted. Matter was nothing before the phenomenon equation. He twisted it away, leaving healthy cells. But there were things matter substitution couldn't deal with. Apparatus, for example, ate away at the very nature of one's existence. The equation meant nothing before strange diseases like that. Was it a form of magic? No, it was merely a conjurer's trick.
ありがとうございます。ありがとう。ドクター、あなたを呼んでよかった。生体クラッキングなど恐れることはなかったのに。ありがとう。
構いませんよ。正常な反応ですとも、ミスター。
Cancer was no longer deadly. Far more fearsome phenomena, which couldn't even be called diseases, had simply taken its place. He actually found the cure to cancer in Fortnite, bro. No way. That was why. This was nothing more than a trick. Y'all remember that meme? That meme of, I found the cure to cancer in Fortnite. Blah, 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 blah. Like, that's so old now. I can't believe it's so old. That was so funny. That was nothing more than a trick. It was the same as using adhesive to hold a wound shut. However, in this city, even that adhesive... Everything in the city changed 10 years ago. People mutated, monsters ate away at them, and the city, which had once aimed for ideals, changed into a fearsome fantasy. Over the last 10 years, people had been allowed to live by the skin of their teeth through great sacrifices. They truly were living by a hair. Under the laws made by the top aristocrat, the controller. The Grand Prince hidden away in the upper tier. Even so, Guy couldn't stop holding out his hand. I saved a number of people today as always, and I saw a great number die. It was ironic. The poor kept on dying. A person's environment meant nothing to fantastic diseases, and yet the more impoverished they were. Today he was in the 12th and 11th slum districts. Earlier he traveled to houses in the 9th production tier. Most of the people he'd saved were from the latter, just as the Grand Prince's law had decided. To the letter of the ideals held up by the city law, praising rejection of the weak. 4 adults, 10 children. He was glad he left Kia with Eerily when he went down to the production tier. He didn't want to show that girl so many deaths. This region tended to have more severe cases of fantastic diseases. Even taking that into consideration, 14 in a single day, that was a large number. 14 today. 14 I couldn't save. Slipping through. So many things slipping through my fingers. Even so, Guy continued to be a traveling doctor. We're back in hell. The city at night. Guy continued to walk down the crowded street. Eerily's hospital was on the tier directly above. Even though it was higher up, it was still a lower tier. The upper tier was just one part at the peak. Everything else was part of the lower tiers. A nest of humans. Yes, of humans. No matter how much their appearance had changed, there was still a herd of people on their way to their deaths.
たく、お前さんが来るときは必ずそうだ。いつになったら無心をやめるんだ、ギー。金ならまだ可愛いもの。医薬品はこのご時世じゃ貴重なんだ。金になるかと言われればならないよね。ま、 食い物たっぷり食ってるあの連中に打ってやるよりはお前さんの言い分もわからんではないかね。何せ仮想民はいつも栄養失調だ。安物のこんな栄養剤だって効くってもんさ。って聞いているのかい？
聞いているよ。いつもすまないな、エラリー。
なんだその手は。
金だ。いらないなら払わないが、こちらも助かる。
そうは言っていないだろう。はした金でも金は金じゃないか。
Early Barnes, also human. One of the few with no mutations visible on the outside. Of course, he did have multiple hearts. To him, visible mutations would be a great stain. Since he examined the bourgeoisies and even upper-tier aristocrats on occasion, his outside was important for business. There were many wealthy men who hated mutations. They were Early's main customers.
例の噂はもう聞いたかい？
さあ、
耳ざといのかそうでないのか。都市法による間引きが近いって情報だよ。どのあたりかまでは漏れていないけどね。
そうか。ありがとう。
はあ、ありがとうじゃないだろう。いい加減老人や子供と関わるのはよせ。重病患者もだ。一体何の意味があるよ。一体何の意味。お前さんの商売は知ってるつもりだがね、全くもって金にならない。ダメだよ。もっと真面目になれ、ギリ。
He said there's gonna be a culling. I wonder if that has to do with that big ball of like evil the Grand Prince is approaching. I'm not sure. I think they're related. I genuinely think they're related.
巡回医師なんて無意味だよ。仮想の傷病者はまだまだ増え続けるだろう。ここはもうそういう都市になったんだ。
Serious, huh?
無差別に治療してもどうにもならない。選定をするべきだ。お前もそれが法だ。傷病者は都市経済にも悪影響を及ぼす。何もすぐにこっちへ来いとは言わない。医師の義務を果たせと言ってるんだ。
Duty.
命の選定は医師の役割だ。でなければ都市法はお前をも処分するぞ。私がお前とこうして会うことだってまあ上層貴族とつながりのある一級市民の耳には入れられない危険行為なんだぞ。そもそも大学で私より優秀だったお前がそんな風でいるのは耐えられないんだよ。
すまないと思っているよ、エラリー。
恩に着せたいわけじゃないんだ。なんだ、設備も医薬品もろくに整わないでその分クラックで補っているんだろうがね。それはお前のエゴでしかないんだ。
Ego. Ego, huh? That certainly might be it. Whatever meaning or significance remained in his conduct was long gone. Guy knew that as well as anyone.
才能を無駄に失うのは都市の損失だ。私は認めないぞ。いいか、認めないからな。
He left the hospital with the voice of his old friend behind him. The lights inside were no longer on. Exceedingly rational doctors closed at 7 p.m. Early was probably busy preparing for his weekend party. Guy had noticed the bow tie in his pocket almost immediately. Early was right. That was what constituted a respectable doctor here. The people who hired traveling doctors must all be insane in some way.
ねえドクター、お話は終わった？お薬はいただけた？キアはご本をもらったのよ。
それはよかった。何の本題？
医学書。1903年の 盛況のものですって。あそこの綺麗な女性がくれたの。
He could see the four-armed girl. He recognized her in her nurse uniform. A Myrmidon nurse with a beautiful voice. He was pretty sure she was Irli's current lover. She waved to him. She'd never shown Guy a smile before when he came to get cheap medicine. It must have been because of Kia.
あのね、これで頑張ります。お役に立てるようになるんだから。
Yo, Irli must be one happy man with those four arms, bro. I'm telling you. 4 arms, 4 hands.
今日は少ししかお手伝いできなかったし、もう置いてけぼりされないように頑張ることにしたの。ギーの役に立つわ。もっとギーを近くで見ていたいから、キーヤは頑張ります。
She really is a mysterious girl from the bottom of her heart. We went home in a slight hurry. At night, a ward this poorly lit couldn't be called safe. When he looked at Kia, she wasn't walking so much as jogging. Obviously, her pace was smaller than Guy's. Was he hurrying too much? When he tried slowing down a little, Kia made an angry face. Really now? Why in the world? What part of this boring guy did she like? Why didn't she ever leave him? The man couldn't understand himself, so why? There are plenty of more respectable doctors out there. Even Irli ought to be better. And yet, why was this girl joining him on his travels every day? He came near the back alley. When he faced a pile of scrap engine machines, he saw something he couldn't believe. He never thought they'd go out walking this late. Clearly, he'd been a little too trusting. Guy realized once again that no ordinary methods would work on them.
出てきなさい。そこにいるのは分かっているよ、ルポ。パルにポルンもそこにいるね。
え？ギーどこ？パル？ルポ？ポルン？
あそこの影にいる。こんな夜更けに隠れようにかい、パル。
ごめんなさい、先生。なんだ見つかっちゃった。うまく隠れたと思ったのにな。ごめんなさい、ギー先生。
The children came out of the shadows, just barely entering the light of a street lamp. When they were completely visible, Kia gasped joyously. The equation he'd used a few hours ago still lingered in his right eye, so he'd been able to see them.
あのね、悪さしてたんじゃないの。ちょっと休憩して。ひどいんだよね。親方ってばさ、夕飯抜きで、しかも夜通し仕事だって怒鳴り散らしてさ。お腹すいたね。お腹と背中がくっつくよ。うわー、腹減った。はしたないこと言わないの。ルポはすぐお腹減って文句言う。ごめんなさい、ギー先生。すぐ工場に戻ります。
事情は大体分かったよ。そうか。
These kids too? He'd bumped into so many situations like this on the way to Irli's hospital, more than usual. And for good reason. Today was a day of fun for lower tier laborers. This was when the Engine Spirit races were held and bet on. Of course, Engine Spirit races? What? Of course it was only fun for the adults, since you had to present a individual identification engine card to enter an Engine Spirit race. Today the factory owners were foster parents in name only, choosing instead to throw away money. Days like these usually ended in child abuse. Guy confirmed the weight of his wallet. He hadn't paid Irli that much, so there was still a decent sum left.
どうにかしてあげて。ね、うちに連れて帰ろう。
いいや、ダメ。誘拐罪だよ。 代わりに親方の顔でも見よう。それでひとまずどうにかなる。君が言ったんだよ。僕は魔法使いだったはずだね。
He'd received huge tips from the bourgeoisie men this morning, or this evening, but since that was money he hadn't earned, he wanted to use it on someone else. This was also a trick. When he had money, he could make it look like magic.
何ギー先生、親方に何言うの？
親方を叱ったりはしないよ。君たちが困るしね。
じゃあぶん殴ってくれる？おじちゃん、喧嘩弱いんじゃない？ルーポ、おじちゃんって呼ばないの。先生でしょ？あと、喧嘩弱いとか言わない。でも、強そうに見えないよ。取るまでも、ちゃんとしなきゃダメ。
He rubbed Pearl's head as tears welled up. Her hair, which should have been soft, was now coarse and hard. He felt as if he knew how they were treated at the factory. He'd given the boss of that engine factory quite a few donations, but the man seemed to be greedier than Guy had expected.
そうだ、待って。ちょっとだけいいものがあるの。
いいもん。
ギーがいなくなっちゃうんだもの。だからお夕飯用に取っておいたの。ライスボールを握ったの。盛況のずっとこの国の保存食なの。ライスを炒めたり炊いて。
Kia is always coming in clutch, I'm telling you, bro.
美味しそう。これなんていうの？ライスボール。ライスボールか。盛況語って面白いな。炊いたお米は握ってるのかな。じゃあおにぎりかな。おにぎり？そうそう、おにぎり。今僕が考えた名前ね。おにぎり。かわいい名前。それじゃあ今からこれはおにぎりね。おにぎり？おにぎり。
The older sister tilted her head, and the brother seemed happy. The reserved girl simply nodded. They screamed joyously as they ate the rice balls. It wasn't long before they disappeared. Truly impressive. Engine factory bosses probably gave their kids 1 or 2 meals a day. The kids Guy had met earlier were no different. 1 bowl a day of inferior synthetic oatmeal from engine-type manufacturing devices. It was never enough. Guy shrugged, then picked up Lupo and carried him on his shoulders. He pulled Poland's hand with one of his own.
パルの手はキーヤが引いてあげなさい。さ、行くよ。
ああ、キーヤ姉ちゃん行儀悪い。はいって言わないとダメなんだよ。ルーポ、生意気言わないの。はーい。はい。はーい。
Guy looked at the children's limbs with his right eye. Since he was here, he decided to do a quick inspection. There didn't seem to be any sign of progression. There was inflammation around their stumps. Their muscles were probably in pain, but the children didn't speak of it. If left alone, it would wear down their bones. They were still young, so they must have been growing out of their limbs. He decided to ask Morimoto to move up the replacement date. He talked to Morimoto about it. If he wasn't careful, the cost could skyrocket. He decided to swap their limbs as soon as possible. You couldn't deny the possibility that the children's aboritis had already invaded her limbs. It was one of the city's most abominable diseases. Aboritis. One of the phenomena that killed children. One of the creatures scattered it. In the city, especially in the lower tiers. Technically, it wasn't a disease. It was a phenomenon that behaved like one. There was virtually no way to recover after contracting it, but it wasn't a certain death. There was a possibility that those kids would live into adulthood. He hoped that they'd be different from the 10 he'd seen today. It could never happen in the lower tiers. Guy wouldn't say that, even if it meant disobeying the law. Even if the city is broken, I will not become like Eerily. Now he was prepared to pull his wallet's drawstring. He'd make up whatever the boss lost so that they could at least have 2 bowls of oatmeal a day.
さ、行くぞ。二度と夜中に外に出てはいけないよ。
はい、ドクター ギー。
Oh, it's this again? I wanted to find a suitable place to save, but this is the best place I can find. So... okay, that'll do. I'm gonna end it off here. It's getting a bit late. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Alright, see you guys.